This week on Modern Shooter, a Western-style shootout in southern Colorado. But we aren't talking pistols here. If you're a long-range junkie, you will want to stick around for this.
Let me tell you, this is more than enough gun when you come out to southern Colorado. You're watching Modern Shooter.
You are going into the unknown. What's on the other side may know you're coming.
The popularity of long-range shooting has brought changes to calibers, perception, and of course the rifles required to reach out and touch targets previously unheard of. It also produced more places to shoot long distance, places that cater to this new brand of shooter. When you come to this part of Colorado, you may think you're visiting the Old West. But when you come to a shootout in this open country, we aren't talking 20 paces. This is where you bring your precision rifle. It's where you'll warm up at 200 yards, then demonstrate your chops on a moving target at 500 yards. And then the ultimate challenge, hitting steel a mile away.
Being out here, out in the desert a little bit, you've got the elevation you're dealing with. We have about 8,000 to 9,000 feet out here, very windy at times.
Annette Wachter is a member of the United States Rifle Team who has won numerous national championship titles. For her, this is a chance to relax in a non-competitive setting and pass along some of her long-range expertise.
As you can tell by the weather, it is a fabulous day. It's a little bit windy, so that's going to be adding a lot of fun and challenge to shooting today. Normally I am just doing serious competition. There's a lot of stress involved, and here I can come out and relax, and you get to shoot, and you get to shoot for fun, and you can shoot at steel targets anywhere from 100 to a mile out. It's amazing. Out here with me today I've got my H&H Precision, which is chambered as a 6.5 Creedmoor. Let me tell you, this thing shoots like a laser beam. It's a lot of fun, and it'll do really well out here in the strong winds. This is a little bit easier of a stage that we have to present today. What's nice about it is one position we're going to be in prone, so we don't have to do any strange props or shooting under, over, through things. So we're just going to be in prone, which makes it a lot nicer.
Carl Taylor was a Marine sniper before becoming a long-range instructor and founding In Motion Targets, which provided the moving targets for this event. He loves pushing the boundaries of what shooters think they can achieve.
I'm on glass. We definitely have a left wind now. All right, I'm with you. Impact! 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 So you can hit stationary targets all day, but after that first couple of rounds, things start moving when it's flesh. So don't you think you ought to be shooting moving targets? These target systems were developed so we can get better at shooting moving targets, because as we know, things are moving in the real world. And these are all modular systems. We build them in 10-foot sections of track. Put any kind of target you want on there. They go back and forth 3 miles an hour, 6 miles an hour, 9 miles an hour. We have stop and go features, erratic behavior, meaning they'll switch directions, go 1 mile an hour, jump to 9 miles an hour, and do all kinds of stuff. We use them a lot for long range, but you can use them on the short range too for an attacking and retreating target. They just have all kinds of options. They set up in 30 minutes out of the back of a Toyota pickup. Like I said, they're modular, one guy setup. It's just too easy. You know what? They're a lot of fun. Let's go shoot one.
The next shooting station is one you can only find in areas like South Central Colorado. In fact, the only thing harder than the target is getting to the location. This is Modern Shooter. Modern Shooter is brought to you by Aguila Ammunition. Feed your firearm. By H&H Precision Rifles. Engineering precision rifles and components for the world's most demanding shooters. Sig Sauer Electro-Optics. See the difference. By Securite. Intelligent firearm storage. By Gun Digest. We know guns, so you know guns. By Turnbull Restoration, specializing in the accurate restoration of historical metal finishes on period firearms. And by Benchmark Barrels, world-class accuracy made in the USA. Welcome back to Modern Shooter, where long-range shooting is the order of the day out on the open plains of Colorado. The next shooting station is one you can only find in areas like South Central Colorado. In fact, the only thing harder than the target is getting to the location.
Wow, that was a heck of a ride, don't you think? As you can see, we are way up here now, completely different elevation. I think we're up to almost 9,000 feet. If you can look at this vista, it's incredible. We're going to be shooting some targets from up here.
Come with us. So we were talking about shooting that mover earlier. And if you looked right down there, it's approximately 500 yards. And we're going to learn how to shoot that from this vista.
We have a lot of different things going on here. Not only do we have a moving target, but we're at a quite a bit higher elevation from it. We have an angle and we have the wind. And now we're at about 9,000 feet, so that's going to make things really interesting and a lot of fun.
And you know what? That'll separate the men from the girls. Oh, inside voice. 1/2 mil left of wind. You got that dialed on? Okay, center it up. Impact. You're on. Impact, center. Impact, center. So you did good there. Just what I saw was I think you need to increase your lead from 1.5 to 2 mils from left to right.
Yep.
And then you're on from right to left at 1.5. So it's
Right.
a perception thing, in my opinion.
It is completely different.
All right, good job.
Yep. That's fun.
Long-distance precision shooting is quickly becoming the new in-game in the shooting industry. It also produced more places to shoot long distance, places that cater to this new brand of shooter.
For anyone who likes to shoot long distance, the 1 mile shot is what we all live for.
Absolutely.
This is going to be a lot of fun. So shooting a 1 mile shot, that's about 1,780 yards. It's a long ways out there. And we were very fortunate this morning that the winds are pretty much nil. A lot of problems with shooting that far is your scope turret won't actually go up as high as you need it to. So you kind of bring it all the way up to the top and then you still have a little bit of holdover on top of that. I think we'll be really easy on the reading the wind today, so we'll walk them in there.
So in addition to what Annette just explained, we're shooting a smaller caliber today, and what goes along with that is we've got a 20-minute of angle base rail on there. We're not really set up for longer distances out to a mile. We're set up for 1,000 and that kind of thing. But with holdovers, we max our scope out in the elevation, and we hold over with the mil scale reticle in there. Makes it easy. It's a little more challenging for the new shooter because he's not really used to holdovers and swagging it, as we call it. So it won't be a hard thing to do, just getting them in the right mindset. Let's do it.
He brings a completely different perspective. I shoot at bullseye targets at long distances with iron sights. It's a completely different discipline than what Carl does. And so it's really fun to learn from each other, but I especially learned a lot from Carl.
There it is. Impact.
Yeah! Thank you for walking me in there.
Yep. Good job.
I'm an H&H precision rifle shooter,
And so am I.
and there's a reason why these guys are hitting these targets out here at a mile, Ken.
Well, it's actually the devil's in the details. It's a lot of little things that we put together to create one good thing, from our machining processes to our materials that we use to start with. It's just being minutiae of little individual pieces of accuracy that you put together in sequential order to get a finished product that will perform.
Up next,
There we go. Impact, 520 yards. The Turnbull converted Model 71. You can still do it with these old guns. It's amazing what these will do.
you're watching Modern Shooter. So if you really want to return to the days of the Old West, you should use authentic firearms. If you do that, you owe it to yourself to visit Doug Turnbull.
So what we have here is accumulation of various rifles that have been through our shop. The one on the bottom is my personal rifle. It's an original 1886 Action that we've converted over to a takedown. It's in the 475 Turnbull. It's been used. I've shot over 60 various animals. Then we go into the modern Winchester 92 and a model 1886. These are brand new guns that are current manufactured. And what we do is we go through and we do the color case hardening, change the wood color, and do the bluing, and take a modern gun and give it the look of the old guns. And then at the end we have it's a Browning 71 in 348, which we converted over to a 348 Turnbull. Added the scout scope with a little converted Ruger base, and kind of taking the old and the new. And I used this on an elk hunt this last year. Shot a 5x4 elk with it. Works really well. Shot that out to 520 yards, hitting a 40% IPSC size target. These guns are accurate. It's taking it to long range shooting with these rifles just as you would with the modern bolt action rifles to 1,200 or yards or a mile and out farther. Guns will do it. There is limitations. Figure out what the limitations are and go out and enjoy them. Shoot the heck out of them. There we go. Impact, 520 yards. The Turnbull converted Model 71. You can still do it with these old guns. It's amazing what these will do. You take a modern gun and you can put the old finishes on it. And now you've got the new steel, high quality steel. They'll take the higher pressures, take the modern bullets, and actually use them in an old style look gun. And they're incredibly accurate. The outside might be really wore, but those people took care of them. The bores are either completely shot out or they're really, really good still and real shootable. And it was a tool. It was what they needed to survive with. You know, put food on the table, and it protected the front door. On the restoration side, you know, working with, in doing the restoration for the last 30 years, it's working with the dealers and the collectors, and they're telling you how things need to be polished and how the finishes need to look, and attention to detail to how it's supposed to look 100 or 125, 50 years ago. So you have a brand new modern gun, whether it's a 1886 or 1892, the 73s. You put the old techniques on a modern gun, and now you have a brand new gun with the old look to it.
Up next,
There standing in the box is Corey Cruz. Recently just won Texas State and the US Open. I'm guessing Corey sees something totally different when he yells pull. Let's go find out, have him dissect this stand for us.
you're watching Modern Shooter. Modern Shooter is brought to you by Aguila Ammunition. Feed your firearm. By H&H Precision Rifles. Engineering precision rifles and components for the world's most demanding shooters. Sig Sauer Electro-Optics. See the difference. By Securite. Intelligent firearm storage. By Gun Digest. We know guns, so you know guns. by Turnbull Restoration, specializing in the accurate restoration of historical metal finishes on period firearms. And by Benchmark Barrels, world-class accuracy made in the USA.
When you stepped up to a sporting clay stand, a lot of different people see a lot of different things. And for example, sporting clays are not my strong suit, right? So when I walk up to this set, I see a crossing pair, but they're standing in the box as Corey Cruz. Recently just won Texas State and the US Open. I'm guessing Corey sees something totally different when he yells pull. Let's go find out, have him dissect this stand for us. How you doing today, Corey?
Hey, bud.
It's good to see you.
See you too. How's it going?
Good, man. I was just talking about how being not a huge sporting clays guy, definitely have different disciplines. When I walk up to this, I see pretty much a crossing pair, right?
Yep. Yeah, essentially.
I'm guessing you see something totally different. If
Yeah,
you don't
a little
mind, you know, break down this as far as what you see, what you're looking for on a specific target. I mean, tear it down. You're
Okay,
considering
yeah, I'll
things
give you
I don't even
a
think
full
about.
little run through of this pair. So, got a machine here on my right and a machine here on my left. First off, you got to make a decision on how you're going to shoot the pair, right bird or left bird first. So this pair, it's pretty general. You can shoot it either way and not necessarily make a big mistake or anything. But as far as timing, that's one thing to kind of keep in mind. Mechanically, what I'm trying to do is just get my eyes set back to the machine. My goal, or my hold point of my gun doesn't need to come too close to the machine. So whenever I call pull, it doesn't flow or fly right by my gun barrel.
Yep.
I want to match the speed of that mount to the bird and just kind of hang there with him. Just give my eyes a little bit of time to do their job and really lock down on the clay. Instead of just seeing a black clay out there in the sky, I want to actually see some detail, a ridge, an edge, a glare, something specific. Tell people that I'm giving lessons to. It's similar to like, if you're hunting, when you're shooting a deer, you're not just shooting at a shoulder. You're trying to pick a hair out to hit, right? So I'm doing the same thing on the clays. So a good hold point, target comes out, I'm just gonna hang with him so my eyes can find that hair. After I kill the first bird, I'm gonna transition over to the second one, follow with him, match that speed as well, and just follow him into that break zone. Some people tell you there's a break point, you gotta shoot it here. No, it's a zone. You gotta get acquired to the bird, follow with him, and then as you're doing all that, your eyes begin to go to work on the clay. As long as the gun's in position, you create a still picture with the gun barrel and the target, and y'all are just having a moment there in the sky, so your eyes can kind of read the book on the clay. Whenever you see it, you want to have good timing to where you send the shot while your eyes are on the clay.
It sounds like with your method, you're putting a lot less pressure on yourself, because if you talk to those guys who have that break point, it's got to happen there, it can't happen at all. Where if you've expanded that a little bit, open it up to a break zone, you're giving yourself a little more time to stay in that shot.
Yeah, totally false on a break point. It's a zone. We're shooting sporting clays. It's just similar to golf. The weather's into effect, the wind takes into effect. If the wind raises a bird up a little bit high, it's already out of that point, right? So it's not going to fly 100% consistent all of the time. So you got to kind of get the gun in position and adapt. That's why I say it's a zone. You get the gun in position, follow with it into that zone, and as long as your planning's well enough, everything should fall into place in that zone. Here, I'll show you. Kind of just everything I was talking about. So machine, I'm going to start my gun right about in here. Whenever it comes off, I'm going to do my best to get the gun in position to the bird right here, and I'm just going to have a little moment with it from about here until my eyes will really take over right here where I shoot it. Yep. As soon as I fire, that other target's already in the air, right? So I'm going to kill him. I'll visually acquire the bird. A lot of people want to keep the gun up in their face, so and just kind of stay looking over the top of the gun. Well, after I fire, I'm going to look up and find the bird. That way my gun will take the shortcut directly to it. That way I'm not searching around with the gun.
Makes sense.
Okay, once I kill that first one, acquire the second one, I'm just going to follow it over. It should be big and bright right over in this area.
Gotcha.
Okay, all right. Pull. There you go.
Dude, you make it look easy. Thank you.
Thanks, man. Appreciate you guys.
Where the long gun comes into its own is when you're barricaded and you've been smart enough to make the bad guy come to you. Here we have a Colt 6720, lightweight. Light weight up front makes it easy for a long-term hold on a thread area, even by a petite person with limited upper body strength. Your adjustable stock allows for the tall person and the short person. Your tall person is fine with this. Your short person, the longer stock will force them backward, and even with a light 223 recoil, the gun will become almost uncontrollable. If you're going to have it set for the smallest person in the household closed, it's no problem for the largest person to just pull it in tighter, and basically all that happens is the aperture sight turns into a bigger ghost ring. You want to be behind solid cover. What I'd be recommending, which we can't replicate here on the range, would be a bookshelf as high as the tallest person in the household standing erect. Running lengthways there, I'd want at least 2 rows of books. That's going to be wide enough for the average adult to get all the way behind. Remember, when you're taking it, you don't want your regular offhand stance from behind a barricade, because one leg is going to be exposed, and that exposes 18% of your main body mass, including femoral artery and skeletal support, to opposing fire. Get into a solid position covering the threat zone. You want to make sure your strong side leg is swung back straight behind you so that it's behind the cover. The shoulder is forward of the hips. If firing becomes necessary, it's right there and it's ready to ride.
Be sure to check out Modern Shooter and Gun Digest online and on Facebook.